thank you again for still making time for me because, like I said, this has been a busy weekend for you for Toronto Caribbean Carnival. But, with so many great events that are going on, we always have to get into what has been called in the past the jewel of this festival, and that is the parade. What is it like? We talked earlier and you said you've been in it. What is it like to be in something that is internationally known? I left you
Even
speechless.
I was just gonna say, I don't even have the words. We always say that this thing is bigger than all of us, and that's not only like in the physical sense, but I mean it's also about this long lasting legacy and history. This parade has happened 56 times. I love telling people I've been in it 35 times, 33 as a masquerader, and now this is going to be my year two working on the parade. So I won't be in costume, unfortunately, but I mean, there's a whole other adrenaline and joy in making sure that things are happening and putting out, any issues that come up during the day, because it's an event and it's also mass, and you can't put it in a box. It has so much life to it. It has a life of its own. And I said to a friend, and I think to you earlier, that everybody becomes a performer on that day when they put on that costume, when they adorn themselves, when they hit that street and the music comes on. It is the best form of expression of a body, but also of just joy.
How is it broken up for folks who have never been to the parade? How is it broken up with bands, performers? How does it work? And everybody has some people may not understand the lingo, but I'll just throw it out there. It's almost like they have their own clubs that come together
Absolutely.
and represent their clubs. How does it all work?
That's such a good way of putting it. So every mass band, not a band like a music band, but a band more like a club, like how you referred to it, comes up with a theme. So this year we have 12 bands. Each of them has their own theme. Now within each of those bands, if inside of their theme, they have sections. So each section is going to support the theme. So for example, if mine was Under the Sea, then I might have a section that says coral reef. I might have a section that's blowfish. I might have a section that says cool waters, and so on and so forth. And the mass is kind of what really makes the parade come to life and what people normally expect. We start at 9 a.m. with our opening ceremonies. I'll be there saying something, I guess, to kick things off. We have a few special surprise trucks that will be on the road from some of our valued sponsors. And then we start with the real show, which for me is the mass bands. So one at a time, each of these bands will take to our main stage that exists on exhibition ground and showcase their theme for the year. We have a panel of judges who work so hard. Thank you to our judges. They sit there all day and watch mass cross the stage.
I did it one year. I did it one year.
Did you really? Oh my gosh, come back.
I would
Come
love to.
back.
I would love to. It's
We would
amazing.
love to have you. But that is also part of the fun, because everybody, including those masqueraders who, I mean, in essence, you're there to have fun, but everybody also wants to win. You're waiting to hear what place your mass band came. The coveted title is Band of the Year. Last year, Saldina Carnival by Louis Saldina, they won, I believe, for the 21st time. So there's another person who exists in the carnival with such a rich history and legacy, not only back home where he's from in Trinidad, but here in Toronto. But I say all of that to say, it's also crazy to go down there and see how many people you know. It's the most perfect time to bump into people you went to high school with, university, friends, family, cousin, like 1.67 million people we had last year. So I'm expecting the same or more.
And let me add to that too. It's not just bumping into friends, but people from Ireland, people from Italy, people from France, people from around the world, and I know this as a reporter speaking to them, actually all come for Carnival. The other thing that people don't realize too, and please talk about this, the elaborate costumes, how long it takes to make, and to think about that. You say that this starts at 9 a.m., finishes around 6 or 7, I do believe. Having to have this on dancing, and heavy, like it looks light to us, but it's not light. This is heavy costumes these
That's
people
part of
are
the
wearing.
spirit, you know. I went to a carnival with some friends last year, and we were halfway through and they were like, "Oh, we think we're gonna go home. We're tired." I'm like, "No, this is exactly when you stay. When you're tired and you think you can't go anymore and your feet are hurting you, that's when you really need to stay." Like that is part of the fun. You know, and even kind of to a way the almost athleticism aspect that it goes on in this. In Trinidad, Carnival is 2 days. You know, people jump up for a whole day on Monday, and on Tuesday they do it again. So this carnival, we don't have as much time as they do, but it's still quite the trek. It's 5 kilometers of dancing. And the costumes, like you said, when you wear these big costumes, there's some preparation that has to go into it physically. But for the most part, it's just more of a mental game, you know, pacing yourself, enjoying yourself, but more importantly, just the honor of representing that piece of your band too is another reason why, for me personally, why I make sure, you know, I'm going to wear it all the way and I'm going to showcase it to the people that are there to see it.
The other two important things that happens, number one, celebrities. Lots of celebrities will come to the city and have parties. And two, what this event or this, even just this long weekend, generates revenue for the city of Toronto.
Almost $500 million in economic impact on the province. And I mean, I've been in the news quite a bit recently talking about funding and wanting more support from the government in putting on this festival. We're a nonprofit organization. You know, a lot of the grants we get require us to put on events for free. So we don't have many options for revenue making streams of revenue. And that's why that piece is so important. But either way, I digress. What this brings to the city is, for one, it allows this city and this country to say it has a culture that's rich with, you know, diversity because this thing exists. But more importantly, you mentioned it a bit earlier, this is the #1 tourist driver to the city of Toronto. There's a woman that lives on Springhurst, which is kind of on the north side of the parade. And she was telling me, because we were at a meeting, and she's like, every year I put up my barbecue and I barbecue and I meet people from all over the world, like all over the world. And I'm like, wow, you know, I don't have that experience necessarily because I'm inside of a band and I'm performing with probably people in my family and all of this stuff. But I love hearing about what other people are seeing and experiencing on that day. And it's obviously special.
I have run into in the past Shaq. I have run into Jay-Z. I have run into Kanye. P. Diddy had his own mass band running down. I remember that. There, you never know what is gonna happen. So that whole day is always a true event. But what's also special too is Sunday. And I remember back in the day, everybody used to go to the island
Go to the
and they used to
island,
have their
yes.
parties. What happens now on Sundays? It's a little bit more low key, but there's still things going on Sunday too. It's
Yeah,
never over till it's
absolutely.
over.
No, it's not over at all. And, you know, in thinking about the island, that is something that you know, I don't know if we'll be able to go back there necessarily, but I want to bring it back, you know, just hearing the island, everybody knows what you're talking about, that, you know, it's going over there after the carnival. But we want to make sure that we're still offering something that people can gather with their family and friends as kind of like a cool down. So we're going to be in Scarborough in the Malvern area by Malvern Community Center. There's a beautiful park there. We're having our International Food Festival. So there'll be a bunch of vendors, come eat. It's also in collaboration with the Ontario Steel Pan Association. So they'll be there with their steel pan bands and their individual panists as well, performing and providing the music background. And of course, there'll be drinks and other things to keep us entertained. But it's really a good opportunity for people, especially if the parade maybe a lot for you, or even if you're looking for something to cool down from the parade, because you can't just do the parade and stop. That's like not a thing. You have to have like, the cool down event. But everybody should come out and go to our website, torontocarnival.ca. You'll see all these events and see which ones you need tickets for.
Last question, going back to the parade again. When does it start? When and where is it going to run? From what to what?
So the parade gates open at 8 a.m. We will be starting on the main stage at 9 a.m. There will be some opening ceremony things that we have to do, like cutting the ribbon. It's always a special moment. Then we will be starting with our sponsor trucks at 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. You will see the mass bands hitting the road. We have groups that will be starting already on the lakeshore and another group that will be starting right by the stage. So you'll be able to see masquerade mass moving by 11 a.m. in the morning, no matter where you are on the route. And then we presume that we'll pretty much be done crossing the stage around 6 p.m. and the grounds will stay open till 8 p.m.
And of course, for folks who may not be able to get down there, CP24 and CTV, I know they're going to be covering that. So there'll be lots of media on this. Just a lot of fun. Rain or shine, never stops the carnival.
Rain or shine.
Thank you so much for the interview.
Thank you, Rudy.
Congratulations. Cannot wait. And thank you again for bringing back a great tradition to Toronto.
Thank you. Can't wait to meet in person.